Hi, it's Jane Gentry with Fusion. Boy, the fact that we have all been quarantined for so long is really forcing us to embrace technology, isn't it? And embrace virtual meetings and virtual events. And I personally love it. You may or may not know that I had a consulting practice for 20 years, coaching salespeople and leaders. And I have been pushing towards virtual meetings over phone calls for many years. And people were oftentimes uncomfortable. I have to take a shower, right? And look halfway presentable. People weren't comfortable with how they looked on video. There were 100 excuses that people gave me about why to not do virtual. There are more reasons, I think, to do virtual than not do virtual. And that is that when you are face-to-face, even if it's over a Zoom technology or Adobe Connect or Teams, whatever it is that you're using, the walls break down so much more quickly because you are face-to-face, you're not on the phone. I almost don't use the phone at all anymore for anything that's with a customer, any kind of brainstorming meetings with our team. We are completely virtual, and I push that quite a bit. Like I said, relationship building happens so much more quickly this way when we're eyeball to eyeball than it does when we are on the phone. And even more so because of COVID. I mean, I want you to think about this. How many calls have you been on where the person that you're talking with is super casual? I've had a couple where they're still sweaty from the gym, actually. Or their kid walks by in their diaper or their dog's in their lap, right? Those kinds of things, while they can sometimes be a little bit annoying and some people think they're unprofessional, for me, I think to myself, wow, the walls just have broken down and we're gonna build a relationship that much faster. And I love it. It lets you into kind of who that person is and what their world looks like. So I'm a total fan of virtual meetings and encourage people to do it as much as possible, especially if you're in sales and you're engaging with a prospect or a client. The problem with having virtual meetings is that we all don't do them well, right? And so there are a few things that I want you to think about as you are planning your virtual meetings. The first one is know your technology. Okay, if you are the host of a meeting and somebody's going to have to download something to get on that meeting with you, send them that information in advance, give them an opportunity to download, because the one thing that will take a meeting off track is technology nightmares, right? I didn't know I had to download something, so I'm late to the meeting, or I downloaded and then I can't figure out how to get my microphone to work. And if you've got 30 minutes with a client, or 15 minutes with a prospect, let's not waste 5 or 7 of those minutes trying to figure out the technology. If you're the host of the meeting, you need to kind of figure out how to be the troubleshooting expert for that meeting and prepare everybody else. If you're presenting something in the meeting, or you think there's a chance that you might have to present something in the meeting, have those documents already opened up on your computer so you don't have to go find them. I get in a lot of meetings with people and they go, oh, well, let me show you this, Jane. And I have to spend a couple of minutes sitting there waiting for them to source that on their computer. Have all of those things ready. If you're the host of a meeting, try to keep your meetings to under 5 people. The bigger the meeting, the easier it is for people to disengage in the meeting. And the one thing about virtual that I'll tell you with regard to meetings and events, for that matter, which a lot of people are doing now, so much easier for people to disengage from you than it is to disengage from a live meeting. I mean, think about it. All I have to do is mute you and I could do something else. I don't have to go through the embarrassment of getting up in a room full of people and walking out on you. So you want to make sure that you are continuing to engage people. Keep the meeting to under 5 people if you can. If it's more than 5 people, find ways to break the meeting out into breakout rooms, or separate rooms where people can go off, talk about a problem, solve a problem, and then come back and report to the group. But you want to keep people engaged. So as a leader of a virtual meeting, it's your job to make sure that you are including everybody that's in the meeting, that you're not just hosting the meeting, you're almost a facilitator or a moderator of that meeting. So think about how you're going to do that. What are the things that you're going to do? What are the ways? What are the questions you're going to use to engage everybody that's in the meeting? And more than ever, it's important to really have your agenda thought out, what it is that you want to accomplish. Talk about those things at the beginning of the meeting. You've got to keep these kinds of meetings moving at a clip, or you will get disengagement. So I think that virtual meetings are fantastic, or virtual conversations. Forget about meetings. Like I said, I use the phone less and less. I love having virtual conversations over video with clients. I think there are so many more pluses than minuses, but you have to be more prepared for a virtual meeting because there's a much greater chance that your audience will disengage if you aren't doing the hard work to keep them engaged.